Hi, welcome, welcome. Computer falling off the thing here. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. We're just having some special time with Spirit. We're so happy. Welcome to the Early Morning Ascension Show. And today we're going to talk about the topic that I've tried to encapsulate in all of our offerings. And one of the reasons why it was such a profound awakening for me when I remembered the essence of the inner joy, the essence of who source and spirit is you, awakening to that soul and that spirit that you are, with spirit, with God, with the creator, with all that is the beyond, the making of all miracles, the making of all worlds, all galaxies, all things in between all things, that we can't and could never ever put into words, and simply anything that we've ever known and put into text on this planet still cannot comprehend when you connect with God, when you connect with that spiritual energy of who you are. It's beyond words, it's beyond recognition, it's beyond, when I say recognition, beyond anything that we could recognize in the human experience, because it's when you get like that, that's that spirit working with you and in you and through you. And I've written about it in all of my books, and I tried to give as much justice to the beautiful, synchronicities and the navigation that spirit can guide you in. And it can be really, truly an incredible path, even in the releasing of the shadow and the vibrational stories that each and every one of us must face, must face all fears, must face all stories that we've come with, to transcend them. And so spirit will lead you on these beautiful experiences. Thank you, spirit. And allow you to see that it's just a navigation of all potentiation. And those fears will manifest until you face it and know that there's nothing to be afraid of. It's just you and spirit and love. And when you do that time and time again, you build the essence within you, that spiritual vibrational vortex that is you, and it becomes more and more powerful and becomes more and more palpable, which is what I wrote about in my second book. In the various myriad of channels that I'd taken over the years from many different councils, it was the way that my soul, the essence of who I was, which is profound and grand, just like each and every one of you, your soul in the various bodies and forms and timelines and many different vibrational earths, other planets, other forms, other aspects of consciousness that we don't even have words for, that we can't comprehend at times, because we don't have the necessary, linear, tactical words that would explain various types of consciousness. And you're a part of that. That's the essence that allows you to feel so very connected and all in love with all things, because it's all source, reminding you and activating you into remembrance about who you are, through which anything on the outer experience becomes the inner joy and the inner bliss. And we want to say that and pause in the moment of profundity that it allows you to experience, because again, they're multidimensional expressions that we want to bring forward and into, the fruition of this gathering and this sacred experience. Everything on the outside, most often than not, for those that are just moving through the awakened process, are not yet seeing the profundity of all that is out, if you will. The life between life, the love between love, the infinite aspects of love that spirit and source sows within everything. It's always there. It always is. It cannot not be there. Everything in life, it's always. The myriad potentiations and layers and levels and the bandwidth just within the forest floor is mind-boggling for those of us that can see those threads and see those energies and hear them and sing with them and dance with them. Spirit will allow you to open up these portals of who you are, because you do have access to these talents, these gifts, and these beautiful blessings and the treasures of the many heavens, which has been talked about and offered from many ancient texts. And that's exactly what that means, is that the more that you fall in love with the essence of the spirit and the joy of spirit of who you are, you're opening those portals and remembering yourself as source. And although the outer world, what most are still asleep to, the miracles and the joy and the beauty of spirit in the outer world, it is still the reality, manifestation, and co-creation of who is and what is within. And so if we've been manifesting what we see on the outside world in really most of our planet, if you will, a collective total, in a still sleep and not awakened state, and we see the beauties that we do, And we are beginning to see the potentiation of our connected one heart. And if that's on our existence of what we experience right now, each and every one of us can just pause and look around our planet right now. And most of you would be able to see so much that just brings awe. If this is at the state right now of what the small potential of awakened people and consciousness have done in a co-creative experience, what would a co-creative experience do with even 30, 50, 80% awakened? We would be seeing the most infinite potentiation of a physical planet that has ever been able to come to life through us. You know, the intricate little designs and the colors and the weaving that each and every one of us are. And that energy within you, when you take that time to really draw all of your consciousness in and drop it to the very sacredness of who you are, this divine sacred heart, is the mother and the father, the Vesica Pisces, that center of who these beautiful infinite, the infinity symbols and the Vesica Pisces that crisscross, the intention of your balanced bodies and your balanced will, and the intention and the beauty of the intelligence and the softening of the divine feminine, the receivership of the divine feminine, using your beautiful intellectual body, your intuitive body, knowing that your spirit potentiation, creating matter potentiation in your thoughts and your words and your deeds, how you direct, intend, and focus your energy. All of those are the potentiations of the vortex of our 5D. So when you just drop it and soften it a little bit deeper and take a breath and open up to the heavens through that pillar of light. That pillar of light feeds you the most insurmountable light and potential. Light and potential. And as you open that pillar of light, open the pillar of light, receive from your Ascension Star Chakra, receive from the Ascension Star Chakra, and call up the aspects of your soul. Call up the aspects of your soul. Call in your higher self. Call in all of your soul's aspects, all your consciousness, so your energy is not scattered. Calling all that I am a beautiful vessel of light. I'm a beautiful vessel of love. I am divine and I am sacred. I am joyful. I am the sacred child that's coming to life right now. And I ask the divine and holy creator, all that I am as a soul, please allow me to feel the joy of who I am as spirit. Please allow me to feel within the breath, because within the breath, you contract and you expand. Because that's source living with you and breathing with you. And just surrendering into the beautiful breath that is source. Beautiful breath that of source that'll take you on any ride, in any dimension, in any fabric, in any way, in any thread, in any bandwidth. And soften your heart, soften your heart, soften your heart. You're perfect. Soften your heart, soften your heart. Feel into who you are in the center. And as you awaken to who you are as a soul that's crossed many cosmic timelines and cosmic planets and potentials and forms and bodies and colors and races and anything that could be anything in creation, you are. Anything. In the center of every molecule, there's the universe. Soften and deep. Soften your heart. Open your heart. And you'll feel this bellowing just expanding in your heart. And your chakras will start to shake and shiver because it's holding a lot of tension. And you just intend, send light and love to these energies. Just release, soften, surrender with spirit. Surrender with spirit. It's okay, you're safe. Surrender with spirit, you're safe. Nothing can harm you, you're safe. Nothing can harm you, you're safe. Nothing can harm you, you're safe. And you become this beautiful sacred child that spirit's always got you. You don't have to figure anything out. You don't have to be anything outside of just this moment. And spirit's reminding you that you're so perfect. You don't have to put any display or presentation of anything outside of who you are right now. That's the perfection of who you are. And you'll feel it right in the center, and your body will just start to just culminate with love and depth and richness. That's the soul awakening within you. And the soul that awakens within you, that's that most beautiful and sacred and most curious adventurer. And you're here for the first time. You're here for the first time. And you open your eyes within this depth of breath. And you're calling in light to your cells, and you're calling in love to your cells, and you're calling in your commandment of who you are and your sovereignty, that your story is your story, unique to you. Your timeline, your destiny, your truths and your gifts and your skills are unique to you. Your voice is unique to you. Your voice holds the spirit of you. And that breath is unique to you, and spirit is activating that breath as you're saying, this breath is unique to me, spirit. Please allow my breath to feed what I need to be in this moment of now, so that I can expand into the greatness of my moment of now with you. My soul requires certain things from you, spirit. And do you think spirit would provide the same breath to you as any other? No. Spirit provides you the unique breath that is right for you, because your chakras and your pacing and your temperament and your body and where your body is and your light quotient is different than all others. Spirit knows what you require. Your soul knows what you require. And when you ask for the intention of your breath to be as sacred as possible, to be as loving and deep and as rich as possible, that's harmonized just for you, through you, then you're asking for that harmonization to be as my name is, I am that I am that I am, my I am presence is I am. So rich. And you want for nothing. You want for nothing but just to harmonize in the richness of you. And that's when we remember as a collective from all of the vibrational stories that we were all taught, the vibrational stories of our 3D, any of the limitations and the lack and the self and all of the spiraling of now timelines from 3 to 5D, and all of the vibrational stories that get activated, especially on a full moon, of our most deepest wounds, safety, abandonment, rejection, and all of those are, the essential core energies that we require for a healthy sense of self, sense of belonging with spirit. And those were the wounds, the psyche wounds, that as that beautiful, innocent, beautiful little child at whatever age and whatever life, whatever timeline, whatever reality that these wounds come from, you know that you've taken them on as the sheath that you wear, because you know that you can always recenter in this now moment and release those vibrational stories that hold you captive within this vibrational cycle of karma that keeps playing out in similar, limited, and fear-based experiences of your reality that you're seeing manifest. And you get to call them in and say, I'm going to release this story of limitation. I'm going to release this story of subjugation where I was abused, and I'm going to stand up for myself, and I'm going to speak my truth, and what I experienced matters. It doesn't matter how anybody else perceives that experience. I get to perceive it for myself, and my feelings and my experiences and how I experienced it physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, it matters to me. Because this owning and claiming and acknowledging of your wound and how you experienced it is the healing of all now moments of all those soul aspects of you. And denying it and suppressing it and not calling it in to acknowledge it for its voice, right? That's the shadow healing. Then those spiraling of now moments will just continue and continue to manifest until you absolutely acknowledge it. And so many of us have come from so many dysfunctional environments and relationships and patterns and historical lineage, akashic, timelines that we must heal for one another in our lineage. That many of those dysfunctional experiences, because everybody in the environment was still living from many of those 3D stories, and all they see is limitation, and that limitation is so normal to them. The dysfunction is so normal to them. Acting in abusive ways is so normal. When you've been in it for so long, that's just a normal, and you get acclimatized to aggression and the normality of being unkind and painful and manipulative to one another just to survive. And so those normalities are becoming all shaken up now, because to go within and understand who you are, to go within and understand the depths and the richness of your soul and begin that self-love process, you have those profound softenings and deepenings of saying, wow, I remember what pure love is like. And I get to give it to myself now when you have those moments of deep and rich breath and harmonization with source, your soul. And those moments are the ones that redefine. So that it doesn't matter what anything or anyone outside of you says is normal. And this is just how it's always been. And these are the rules that our traditions go by. These are the rules and the definitions that one must acclimatize to because it's normal for us. It's what we've always done. And then you return yourself back to self and you become the awakened soul. And you say, wow, that's just not my story anymore because this is my experience of what happened. And it was absolutely not okay. Because there was things there that changed and deprived and neglected and absolutely diminished the soul in every way, in its entirety, physically, mentally, emotionally, and etherically. And in some of my private healings that we've had in the past month, specifically, and why we see unfolding what we do, is to reclaim the sovereignty of the soul and the joy of the soul and the richness of the soul and the depths of the soul. Because when you call all of your consciousness in to remember who you are as that pure sacred child of the beauty that you know that only you can give you and provide you and reawaken, and you drop within it and you harmonize all that you are as consciousness and all that you are as a soul and harmonize it within the center of your body, spirit will call it in with you and start harmonizing and bringing those wounds to the forefront for you to call forward and face, acknowledge as a part of your story, and then release to be transmuted so that you get to recycle those energies in a higher now knowing. Because all energy is energy. It doesn't go anywhere and it doesn't stop becoming. You must alchemize it through a higher now knowing of self-love. The only way to do that is to come back within, return back within, know yourself as a sovereign Christic being of holy light meaning the metatronic energies that we are with spirit and source, a harmony of songs and dance. And it is what I'm saying, literally and figuratively, as a harmonic, sacred, geometric experience. And in what's been occurring lately is the collective presence and the ever pressing on, as meant to in our Ascension program through Source and the Divine Plan, is to be compressed and to be compressed with all of these vibrational stories of limitation and fear, to keep pressing on the collective, to keep pressing on these subjugations and these control experiences. And each and every one of us are feeling them in various minor and subtle and major and profound ways. So that we are made so uncomfortable that we absolutely seek that answer from within who we are. Who am I as that perfect child again? I want to feel that safety, regardless of what's going on outside of you, regardless on whatever stories are going outside of you, to say that these conformed rules are a must-have for humanity and you must abide. So no matter what is going on outside of you, those controlling stories as a collective that we've co-created are just the mannerisms of the subjugation and the control and the fear that we've all chosen to live under this blanket of. To say, at some point we must awaken. At what point will humanity awaken? In the many ways that we've given our power away, physically, mentally, emotionally, etherically, financially, in any way that we can, spiritually. We've given our power away spiritually for thousands and thousands of years to understand what God is, and it really isn't. Because nothing and no one can explain God and put God in a basket and say, these are the experiences that must be done to express and experience God. Yes and no, right? It's an infinite, unique, and individual experience. And it's meant to be that way because God understands what your breath needs, what your body needs, what your cells need. Your cells and your body are unique to you. Your soul's plan is unique to you. And what you need and require is different than the one sitting next to you, even if you're a twin. It's absolutely different because your soul's Akash and the record you come with and the wisdoms and the intelligence and the universes you come from is far different than anybody else's. So too is theirs. So God knows exactly what you need, but we've given all of our power outside of us that we've never returned that sovereignty within ourselves to remember who we are as sacred children. But when we do, it's profound and it's earth shattering and earth moving. And so these controlling experiences that we find outside of us, these ways that we've been subjugated and neglected and, and dishonored in so many different ways, so many different lineages and so many different Akashas and tribes and whatever communities we've come from, it's subtle and it's there on every level. And in what's been unfolding lately in the healing experiences is that so many are coming forward with these deep-rooted lower chakra energies. For the rest of the year, that's what will occur for the collective, is these lower chakra healings and these expulsions of these deep-rooted fears and traumas and experiences that will come forward first in subtle and small ways, usually through your meditations and your dreams, so that your teams are slowly bringing these energies forward to you. We're going to come forward with these awakenings, and some of them might not feel comfortable. So we're going to start slow and soft and first bring them to you in your dreams. And I wrote about this in my book. Spirit is always the most unconditional and loving experience. They will never throw anything at you that Spirit knows that you cannot transcend, that you absolutely know that you're ready for, and that it's taken a while to awaken, and there's no other way for us to awaken you than these bigger tower moments. And so if we're not paying attention to the small, subtle ones, those bigger rumblings will occur. And what we're finding now with our collective, the control factor and the control knob is being turned up as a collective, because many people are still not awakening. How much can we give our power away? How much can we allow the control tactics of extra, and outside experiences to change who we are about ourselves, to displace our sovereignty about the power of our consciousness on our health, in our health, of our health, to know that we are in absolute control of our health, our wellness, our abundance, and the planet in and of itself, that we are such profound creators that we've forgotten we can just give our power away and say, oh, okay. No, these times of awakening are for us to return that sacredness back within. And regardless of whatever story outer is being pressed upon you, know that how you experience your reality, how you experience your experiences, how you experience anyone's experience is unique to you, and that's how you heal it. And in these experiences recently this week, in some of the many of the things that have come across my consciousness, which is always connected with the collective that I'm meant to bring forward for our collective learning and our collective healing, in the understanding of how us through the eons of our collective experience, how we've taken various forms of neglect and abuse and subjugation. And many of the experiences in the sessions as group and collective webinars and classes of women sharing their experiences and their stories. And also this goes to obviously many minority groups, tribes, and many of the things that we see in our news. Anything that this experience as spirit, because our spirit holds our body and our body holds our spirit, it's one and the same. Our spirit and our body are harmonized as a functioning vessel of life. Our body would not be able to survive without the spirit. And so if we are not feeding and nourishing our bodies in an everyday, like brushing your teeth type of experience, that self-care and that self-nourishment, that self-empowerment, self-love, self-direction, all is self with God. If we're not doing this, then all of our multidimensional systems become imbalanced. And what the teams had given me is the same experience of what a sick cell looks like. It becomes warped and it becomes malaligned. It's kind of wrinkly and it becomes dark and rippled around the edges because of the impalements that it's taken from other energies of itself that it's knowing not of its purity. So the cell has intelligence. Everything within you, because it's God, it's spirit. Every little bit of sacred geometry of all of your multidimensional makeup, the essence, it's called the essence. In between everything that is matter, it's spirit. It's all God talking to God. You are the one that is the commander of it. You are the one that says, my consciousness belongs to me. I will not be affected by the outside world. I am the light within the world and I affect the world. And living from this inner pillar of light, knowing and direction and intention, investing yourself on this inner experience. And if not, which none of us have been taught this, most of our collective has never been taught this and does not live like this. Everything that we understand about ourselves is sent out, is directed out. Our belonging, our safety, our wellness, our sense of self, all of that is sent out. We succumb to social experiences. We succumb to dogmatic and teaching and learning, everything in our society. Who are we is based, we keep looking outside of us for ourselves, never nourishing our bodies and our energies and our fields and our bodies within ourselves. So this experience of the perfection of who we are as spirit in the color and the pristine and the clarity of who we are becomes warped in a way. It becomes malnourished, and the colors become lesser in refined clarity. They become rips in the aura. If you've had traumas in any way, rips in the aura through which other entities and energies can get in. And if there isn't divine care of the body, because you are sacred and beautiful and perfect, any malnourishment in any way to the multidimensional bodies, physically, mentally, emotionally, and etherically, spiritually. And we all know that those things are going on our planet because that's the purging, if you will, so that we can go back within and reclaim our power and reclaim our light and our own perfection. that these energies of juxtaposition and these energies that are all sitting within the lower chakras of our fear and our safety, and who are we? Everyone is being awoken at the collective level. And so any type of abuse that goes on in any way, and we say abuse in the way that if we look to the perfection of who we were born as, that beautiful sacred child, anything that is not of the most magnificent, when you look at a child for the first time, it's pristine and it's perfect. And we all have those feelings of that perfect experience of birth. We do. Everybody does. That is the perfection through which you are always meant to keep and maintain and sustain and even expand, because your light is infinite and eternal, and you can expand the pristineness of your potentiation in every way, molecule by molecule. You can. Your source, everything in between it is source, if you know how to navigate and be the commander of this. We've never been taught these things, and why we see everything unfolding the way it does. We are meant to go back within and return the profundity of who we are within and be that perfection of that sacred child, the instantaneous adventure of who you are as spirit. Anything that comes into the field, as I was expressing to some of my clients this week, when you're creating, because some of the experiences that were being shown to me were their own soul's experience to stand in their own power and be their own journey of strength and light and entitlement for who they are, to be treated with respect and honor and care. Any type of abuse or imperfection of sacred love in any way, aggressive and violent video games, degradation of language and sound, because we've all seen those studies of what happens to water with the degradation of sound and negative, hateful energy that goes towards water. And all of our makeup is water. And what happens to those cells and what happens to the sense of self? It gets depleted and warped, because that nourishment that body needs as spirit, it knows itself as spirit, the intelligence within those cells and the experience of spirit. It's not being nourished as spirit, not by any means. Violent shows, violent aggressive drama, all of those experiences, and then on what we do to ourselves through negative mental, emotional mind talk, manipulations, anything that is not imperfection of truth of who you are as spirit, love, joy, sacredness. Not holding yourself as sacred affects how you are as spirit vibrationally, in your color, in your sound, in your vibration. And then how we treat our body. And every one of these chakras come with wisdoms and intelligences to be treated in sacredness, to be treated and valued in the love of who you are. And if we're not doing that, which most are not, because they just have never been taught these things, then how we seek the value of ourselves and the belonging of ourselves becomes misunderstood, misdirected, misguided. And why all of the outer seeking and the outer addictions and the outer getting and the outer this and the outer that is a complete sense of self misdirection. And why so many, and the experience of feeling like a lost soul occurs. Because you're meant to go within and start redefining yourself as you. I am this, I am that I am, I am that I am, I am that I am. And those powerful redefining moments, when you're doing your daily self-care and understanding to nourish yourself as spirit and soul, you start recreating your new I am soul story. I am powerful, I am profound, I am abundant, I am healthy. Your I am presence is your I am soul story. You're not lost anymore. You're found. You found you. You're the only one that can find you. You can go to an infinite number of videos. They're not going to tell you anything about who you are. You are the one that goes back to center and says, regardless of what's going on outside of me, regardless of what anybody else says or does, I get to go back within myself and I get to say, no, this is who I am. I get to own that. And then I get to walk it and talk it and be it. And that's when source opens up all these majesties of the heavens, because you're going to be tested at every level. Can you simply just surrender to spirit and understand and know that you are one with God? You're one with spirit. Spirit's got your back in all ways. But do you trust yourself to create your own I am present story, regardless of how much pressure is being put upon you to do this, to get that, and to be on what side of the fence, whether it's in politics or a vaccine, because those are only manifestations of how fearful you are of being controlled or not controlled or safe. That's all those control stories are. The control stories that each person is here to surpass: limitation, fear, safety of the body, being held safely and secure, Are you feeling safe and secure? And if not, go to the bottom of it. Why? Why do I not feel safe? And if there's those around you that are playing those unsafe stories, then you know that absolutely to start to step away, because you don't need those vibrations to continually playing and plaguing on your insecurities when you're trying to heal yourself. And that's when the awakened being then starts to make those soul defining choices. What is really healthy for me? What is really nourishing for me? Am I being nourished and valued? Because these are my new states and standards of self-love and self-joy. And I want to allow myself that environment as well to feed and nourish me, because I'm now nourishing my soul. And I want to be responded as a nourishing soul as well. Because, and again, we said, they were showing me in these healing experiences. And this one story that they were showing me is that this one divine feminine was having such a difficult time, in an experience of her own personal, her life. And in one of my lifetimes, they were showing me, they're showing me right now. I'm working in the field, and there was the master of the field, we called them back then, because most often than not in those days you were a worker and you were paid very, very little, like 50 cents a week, to work in the fields. And it was such extraneous work. And these are, again, subjugations, conformity, slavery, all of the things that we're all here healing. And your sense of safety is that, well, if I don't comply, oh my gosh, I'm going to get beaten. And sometimes they did beat the workers and slaves. And the man is yelling at me for not working hard enough and fast enough. And I was just exhausted. And they can replay in this now moment, because remember, all earths are now. So as she's healing that deep inner wound, as I was healing this deep inner wound, because we both had similar stories, those Akashic triggers come forward to be released, because they're remaining stuck in the chakras. So any injury that you've acquired this lifetime are stuck within the multidimensional bodies and must be cleared by you, by accepting that, yeah, it was neglectful, it was abuse, by owning it, by acknowledging and saying, no, I love myself more, I'm going to put love to those wounds. Then you have that free-flowing energy of source, of breath, of the essence that is God, and that God flow just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And so the subjugations that she had occurred, that I had occurred, all happened in many of the chakras, because the voice wasn't allowed to be spoken. She had blockages on the ears because of the nasty, energy that was impaled at her verbally, and the wounds that were taken, and as well as the body in and of itself. A lot of those that carry injuries, and many of us know that we've been in this for quite some time, medical intuitives. Many of the injuries that people call forward are the same now moment injuries from other lifetimes that is directly linked to those timeline wounds of subjugation or pain or slavery, and many other things. If you had a back injury in one of your timelines that was directly related to to an injury that you had on a piece of machinery where you were overworked and you were enslaved, that will come up this timeline until you release those core wounds. And that's the trauma healing that we do in our classes and our healing sessions, and why you seem to manifest those things over and over again, because the injuries of your subjugation and that inner child is saying, you need to listen to me. I need your love. I need your attention. I don't feel safe, and I want you to come and love me and hold me in my perfection. Because when we're looking upon the beautiful little planet, thank you, all the beautiful life that is around me right now in my sessions, they're always with me. They're saying we want to release ourselves from this captivity. They don't feel safe, because that safety is being compressed and compressed and compressed on our planet by news and media and conformity and all of these outer experiences that pretend to dictate, our safety level, when it's all fear-based programs, and yet they're apparently having our highest and our best interest at heart. So then spirit says, is humanity going to awaken? What power and what knowing do you have of yourself as spirit? And why we manifest what we do, whether it's a personal lifetime experience, it's absolutely, make no mistake about it, directly related to the collective unfolding, the subjugation at a collective level, and how each and every one of us has been harmed and densified and warped in some way at some timeline, in some timeline, each and every one of us have the densities and the imprints and the injections, really, in the fields and in the bodies from many years and eons of abuse. And the abuse is, as we said in our blog post, sometimes the words, people get triggered by these words because they're not awakening to the perfection and the essence of what is spirit. When we say abuse, it can be taken in an infinite number of minor and major and subtle ways. Abuse means that when you're in the fullest knowing of yourself as spirit, as the embodiment of spirit, and you're feeding yourselves that rich light of love, pure love, which most simply have never ever experienced unconditional love. That's how shut down as a collective we are. That unconditional pure love, anything that is not that, is in essence, in some manner, abuse. Because that body, that field, that perfection that you feel with source, as I said earlier, will bring you to your knees and it'll make everything inside you shiver, because it's so pure and it's so rich that you would never, ever, ever think of ever causing any harm. That's how pure and rich that experience is. And that's why we say that word. And it's not meant as a trigger. It is meant absolutely, if you allow yourself to feel the beauty and the perfection of who you are, you would not want to do anything other than just continue the self-love process, because it's so transformative. And that's what you're always meant to feel. And that's what we're here to awaken within our collective. And let's, with great compassion and with great love and with great communication and with great sacredness to who we are as a collective, and let's look at what we've manifested as a collective, and let's face it with divine compassion, because it's the divine within us, the sacred geometry of the essence within all things, the essence that realigns the chakra systems, the essence that realigns that power encoded light, the essence that aligns those auras of color and richness and clarity and tangible feeling. You can feel your body lighter. Your aura will glow. You'll feel lighter. Your thoughts will become lighter. You'll have a higher potentiation of higher entrainment thought forms, and you begin to manifest miracles. That is the tangibility of the miracle that is your source essence. That is source, God, in all things between all things. That is what turns in those water, experiments. That's what turns that snowflake and that frozen water molecule into something that's very damaged and warped and not understandable, into something that's pristine, clear, and the points are all known. I mean, look at that water experiment by Dr. Emoto, I think. And it was funny because I had the same translator when I was in Japan as Dr. Emoto. And I had followed him on his, I had come into the teaching experience just after he had left, and I had the same translator, and we had many great conversations about that. Because we were talking about the commandmentship of your health and the wellness of who you are. And so have a look at the difference of how your words affect your cells and the water body within you. Have a look at how you can allow yourself to continue to visualize with intention, visualize with love and joy and sacredness, as if you in and of yourself are your highest friend. You are the love of who you are. You don't have to walk around with great armor. You don't have to walk around with great fear. Release it. Release it, release it, release it. Because walking around in those experiences doesn't allow that highest light just to flow in and out, flow in and out, flow in and out. And allow the joy of who you are to start repairing all of the chakras and all of your fields and all of your cells. And you can work with it in every moment. And change the story, the I am story. I'm not a story of something outside of me. I am my own story with spirit. And spirit is guiding me, my highest counsel. And nothing will thwart me and nothing will sway me, because it's me. And therefore, you're reclaiming everything that you've ever given away, anything that you've ever given away on any timeline, and now you heal it. Now you claim for the highest light of all that you are in all timelines. I claim who I am now. I claim who I am now. I am one with spirit. I want to feel every cell within me alive and healthy and well. And anything that I hear or experience or I am allowing myself to manifest, I'm absolutely going to start setting boundaries, because I honor who I am as sacred. I want to feel that feeling again and again and again. And you never look to outside experiences to ever make you feel what you feel with spirit inside. Then you start rebuilding the perfection of who you are. It's always been there, but it absolutely has been damaged. And so what they were showing me this week in these healings is that we all have these experiences to heal what was damaged. by the many wounds of our parents that only were taking on the wounding from their parents. And in all of our classes and all of our healings, we talk about the healing of thy name is the healing of thy name. And when you've cleared all of the healing of thy name, chakra through chakra, you then return it back to your parents. And you then gift them back because you've cleared it for them because of their behaviors and their beliefs that were transferred and transposed in your vibrational stories that you can, if you so will, it's always free will, that you can choose to say, that story was given to me when I was born. That's not my story anymore because God is within me. My sovereignty is within me. I can create whatever reality I want. That power belongs to me. That was always the blessed gift of free will. That is the highest gift of creation, is your free will to create the body of your highest light, to create the intention and your creativity to allow that to flow in your highest light, and then all worlds are possible. That is what is meant from above, below, and all around is you, in and out. It's all you. But we've been never taught these things. And they're more than just simple New Age cliches, because those New Age cliches have no effect if you don't understand the essence of who you are and allow it to soften. The essence of who you are is God, is source, is spirit. That is alchemy. But it takes the commander, it takes the driver of the ship, it takes the purity of intent to say, I don't want to feel these pains anymore, and I don't want to take another karmic cycle. I can't do this, spirit. These are the lessons I have learned, and I'm willing to release this lesson of lack of self. Please help me redefine myself. Please help me come back to an I am story that's powerful and gracious and noble. Please help me come back to a I am story through which I can express my highest creativity and not feel as if I'm in fear of my safety or anything other. And I'm healing it for the collective in kind because I can, because I am. And this is in the healing of thine name and thy name to thine parents. For all is one and one is all. And your parents and your lineage and your ancestors come living through you in celebration and in joy. Oh, you've got it. Thank you. We knew you could. We knew you were the strong one of our lineage. We knew that you would make it. Out of hundreds from your lineage, you're the one that said, I can go forwards. I'll heal it for the collective spirit. And any time that control and subjugation comes to me, in whatever way it can, small and minor ways, whether I'm abused by words, or whether I'm told to do something I don't feel comfortable in, I will heal it for thy name and all others. That's powerful, and it'll rock your world. And every chakra within you will just poof, 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 and the density is gone. Because you love yourself so much so. And there's no smaller story or less than story that could ever take that place. And every child in creation cheers. Because you've cleared that density and that subjugation that they didn't have to face. Because you knew that your body was important, your body was sacred. That your mind was important, your mind was sacred. That your emotions and how you experienced experiences, because your level of intuitiveness, your level of creativity, your level of spiritedness with one in Gaia, with one in spirit, with one in all things, your empathic and compassionate skills, your intuitive gifts that God gave you, the sacred Christ field worker that you are, the conduit, the healer, the sacred visionary, the seer, the orator of all things that is spirit and sacred and true and real. You're meant to hold that dear and hold it high. And when your time comes to speak your truth, you absolutely will, and you'll stand up and say, I'm healing thy name, and I will no longer be made less than in any way. And I'm healing all that is in my name, I am that I am. Thank you, Spirit, for giving me this opportunity to remember who I am. And you'll be made whole. And everything within you becomes whole. And all of your ancestors lived through you. And these are real stories, dear lighted ones, real stories of transformation. And we've been shut off for so long. And when that heart chakra gets shut off, you forget what it feels like to be really loved, to feel like you really belong. And that belonging comes from within you. Because anything outside of you that says you belong, it doesn't even compare, not even this much, to what you feel like within when God says, I've got you, young one. You're always cared for, and you will always be protected. Just speak thine truth. Live in thine truth of sacredness and gentleness and kindness. And in that is a compassion. Because you're showing your cells in your body again that I can be kind and compassionate no matter what love is. The sacredness of who we are. I'm connecting with each and every one of you. Your hearts are so profound. Take a deep breath, dear lighted ones. We love you so much. Take a deep breath and call Divine Holy Mother and Holy Father and your soul and your higher self in. And just with the highest light and the highest love, we love you so much. I choose to feel the essence of who I am right now, Spirit. I reclaim all my power and I reclaim all my light. I reclaim the importance and the value of who I am because I get to choose. I get to choose that I am important, that I am special, and that I am sacred. And it's in this calling, in my choosing, I am the sacred convergence, because it is my intention and my pure will that I change all of creation. My cells change, everything changes because I get to choose. And from my center and from thine name, I am that I am. And I release all lesser stories. Those stories were perfect then, but now I'm new. Now I'm new, now I'm new. And all is held equal. All. Even those that caused you the most drama and the most pain, for they made you the strength of who you are to bring those pressures of conformity, those pressures of less than, those pressures of not enough, those pressures of lack and not belonging. Those were the pressures, and those were the steps on your path that you needed to say enough is enough. I'm going to go within. I'm going to soften. I can't play that path anymore, Spirit. It's too harmful. And some of us stay on that path for too long, and it does damage to the cells in the bodies because we want to believe in the best of others. And sometimes when you're in it for a long time, you don't know you're in it. And that's our lesson for all the children, because if you step forward in your love of you, the children will know that they can too. And that's how we show the way. That all those that wound are also wounded. And to give them love and compassion and care, for they are the wounded children too. And this is our planetary mission. For it's in the love of who we are that we offer it to all others. And so they can see that they can love themselves too. And they would not want to hurt any aspect of life. No forest floor, no ocean, no air. But just to feel the grandness of the love inside that's just eternal, and it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. When you turn the channel, it doesn't stop. God's always in breath. God's always in breath. Your body's constantly being loved. But now you get to be the commander. You get to be the visionary of who you are. You get to be the visionary of who you are and live large and live bold and say, I get to choose who I am. I get to honor who I am, and I get to make this reality the best. Our life and our time here is so short. And we're meant to transcend every density and every limitation that we have ever been agreed to take on. Because at the highest level, we do agree to take all of our stories on. Because we know that there are lessons within it and blessings that our soul needs us to understand. That I do have great strength to step beyond every limitation and fear-based experience that I manifest and the co-creative collective manifests. Because we can stand in one, we can stand in our own, and we can choose to infuse light into every experience. That's why we're here. To create the Vesica Pisces in all moments, releasing all vibrational stories that keep us held in limitation. We are profound creators, and we can create anew. Create anew, create anew, create anew. And it's within the joy of who you are, Spirit. The sacred child, the sacred adventurer. And so create an intention, if you so choose, to drop all of your consciousness into your heart, and we're going to do a light language for the activation of the sacred child in this beautiful full moon, for you to receive your harvest, for you to receive all that your blessings are, for you to receive the sacred codes in your fields and in your light, in your dreams and your experiences of your ascension, and the little synchronicities that God blesses you with in every day, so that your body feels better, your mind feels better. When you're in bed at night, when you're in bed at night, ask your teams and your healing teams and your guides and your soul to do a full multidimensional clearing on your mental body, because so many densities are held in the mental body. Programs of limitation, the dark and negative programming that's going on right now. And everything that you listen to, if you listen to the news, all of that stays in your mental body and your field. So if you're not clearing and cleansing it, your field and your bodies again just feel like cobwebs and cobwebs of density that are not necessary. When you clear your fields a couple of times a day, and you clear your chakras through breath and visualization and color and light and sound, you'll feel the difference. Within a matter of 3 days, you will feel a difference if you do it with devotion and love for you, because you just want to feel better. You want to feel like all of your consciousness is living in this forward momentum of joy and creativity and powerful honoring of who you are. If you want others to honor you, you got to honor you first. If you want others to respect you and value you and know that you're a part of this beautiful collective experience, you got to do that first. And no matter what's going on in the outer reality, allow. You don't have to be a part of it. You don't have to engage. Supply and demand. Where are you investing and where are you directing? That's your reality. So call all of your consciousness in. Thank you, Spirit. We're calling our higher self and our souls. Thank you, Spirit, our healing teams, Lord Michael, and all of the beings of the highest holy light to bathe everybody listening now and future now moments at the highest level of consciousness, for the light of that we are in the bathing of our divine, the divine flames of the purple and amethyst colors to bathe and cleanse and purify. Thank you. In the sacred light of the Christ consciousness and the purity of the white light, the purity of the crystalline consciousness. Thank you, Spirit, that ourselves and all that we are needs. And we are allowing our hearts to be open in this receiving. And in this divine harvest, it is the divine feminine harvest, because it's allowing us to remember that to receive your harvest, to receive abundance, it is the divine feminine energy. And to receive is to allow yourself the knowing that you're worthy of receiving. And as the mother had showed me, that when you are in receivership of yourself, you're allowing the heavens to also receive you. When you are in receivership of others, because they are an aspect of you, then you are always in receivership of the heavens. And so it is when we judge and condemn others that we're not in receivership of ourselves, because they're aspects of who we are. And that is what's called the olden day term as the golden rule. Because they are aspects of us. We're all one. That is the law of one. And why, when we understand what really happens and what occurs to the bodies, and how it affects our bodies, any type of abuse that is not in the divine perfection of love. And that might sound like a tall order because the outside world shows us. But then we must understand what Lord Sananda had showed us about a year ago, that we are not our environments. That's what we've manifested, yes. But we are the light within it to change it. Just like that water molecule. We are the element, we are the vessel, we are the presentation to change all that is. We bring the heavens to earth. And yes, they're reminding me the heavens are also within, and that's what Joanna's talking about. And just intend, if you're not sure what that love feels like, what unconditional love feels like, because many don't. So don't feel sad or don't feel, worried. Many of you are just awakening and you've never felt unconditional love before because you've come from dysfunctional experiences. You've never used your heart chakra. And that's okay. Come in, children, come in. We're all going to experience this beautiful love creation. And we're calling in the collective of the highest healers, the star councils, galactic federations. Thank you, the divine and healing Mother, Father, and all of the councils of light for the healing teams and the ascended masters and the yogis. Thank you all around the planet. Calling in Gaia. Thank you, Gaia. Call in the breath of Gaia from your feet and your lower chakras to call up a vortex of receiving and harvest, so that our hearts, our bodies, and our fields may receive whatever is encoded for the highest holy light. Thank you, Spirit, for it is our collective one heart that we choose a new freedom and liberation for ourselves, these new co-creative experiences, these new creative realities, so that we see ourselves having fun and being of joy and adventure of our experiences here on earth. In one another we are one. In another we are one. In one another we are one. For it is our reflections of our oneness that we are, our diversity, our honoring. It's our sacredness. We're meant to be unique. We're meant to be different. We're meant to be sacred, because the souls and the joys and the sacred geometry, your song, your harmonic, everything that you are is unique to each person. It's meant to be. And that's why your unique song with Source, your unique language with Source, your unique synchronicities with Source will be unique. And why your unique feeling from within, and it will rock your world. You've connected with Source when your inner world right here just becomes all trembly and you soften and you just weep. with great love and connection. And so seek that feeling, and it will be unique to you, but it will feel unlike any other experience you've ever had since your incarnation. That's how you know you've connected as source. And so just seek it. Seek that oneness with source. And it will open at the very center of your heart, right here. And you'll feel that pressure sometimes, and of course, check with your doctor. But when your heart chakra has been closed for so long, it will feel a tightening, and as if your chakra is opening. And sometimes they do come with sharp pains when your heart chakra begins to open. Because what that is the divine feminine energy that has never been felt with the degree that it has been bathed on our planet for eons. Again, this ascension experience is so profound. We are being bathed in the divine feminine love, the divine feminine harvest for us to receive in our hearts one another, and our hearts in our new reality co-creation, which everyone desires and aches for. And ground, feel your body ground, and know that you will receive exactly what you're meant to receive, because that's light language. It's a multidimensional experience. You might receive your activation tomorrow. Thank you, Earl, clearing the lower chakras. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Clearing of the lower chakras. Thank you, Spirit. And my intention to receive exactly what I'm meant to receive in this sacred honoring of our full moon, in this harvest experience, in this activation of receiving myself as the sacred adventurous child. For I understand that all that I am is a beautiful essence of love and compassion and oneness is my reaction and my reality that's coming to me in equal kind of all creation. Thank you, Spirit, so that my heart may shine as one for all others. Because I understand the oneness, and I understand the essence of who I am as one in all things. And all creation is forever changed. I'm so grateful. So open up your hearts, dear lighted ones. Thank you, divine counsels of light and the Holy Mother. Father, please live and speak through me as the light of all that we are, as the benevolent speaker and conduit, vessel and instrument of the holy and the divine. Thank you, Holy Mother, Father, the sacred vessel of love and light. Thank you. And just open to receive. Hi, atatake, atatake, she, ananai, ananai, atnatnatnai. And ground 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 and hold it in and hold that in. Say, these are my new codes, this is my new becoming, this is my new becoming, this is my new becoming. And there's lots of crown chakra stuff going on there. I could feel that. And the mother and the father were just saying, you're sacred children. You're meant to play sacredly. You're meant to love one another sacredly, for you are all sacred beings of light. You are all sacred beings of light. So allow yourself to really be intimate and owning who you are as this sacred, beautiful vessel of perfection. And know that your environment affects you in every way, every cell, every molecule. And in whatever you've manifested, you have the ability and the equal opportunity to manifest the opposite side. Whatever you've manifested, whether it's an illness, whether it's any type of mental confliction that you have with yourself, it's the vibrational stories that are in friction and misalignment of what you know your truth to be. That's why we have those experiential frictions. Those frictions are showing you, yes, I'm meant to be here. Your spirit and your higher self and your soul is saying you have these stories, face it and acknowledge it, and you can be here. That's why they come forward to us. And again, they're gentle and they're soft and they're easy, and they always come to us first as these small little triggers in our dreams. And we see them in our reality of hearing stories of abuse and neglect. It's for us to go within and start pulling those stories up so that we can clear it for the collective. And we can be a soft and gentle experience, and a compassionate experience for others that are going through their expression of who they are, and finding and remembering their own soul's perfection and that beautiful sacred child. And so we're going to pull one of our oracles before we go. We hope that you've enjoyed this full moon in Pisces, which is going to be very deep and very rich because that's Pisces. And this full moon is meant to be a harvest, which means that to pull up any of those stories and know that some of them might be intense. So just breathe and lift your knees really gently up and down so that you're releasing those deep lower vibrational trauma energies from your cells and your organs. As if there's been any abuse or trauma, they do appear and they do feel very, very intense. And it can feel like you're in, kind of a vibrational purging, which feels kind of like depression for a couple of days. Just drink lots of water. Release and reduce the crowds that you're around. And of course, loud and aggressive and violent entertainment, all of that plays a part on how your body is trying to process greater light. And so just understand that you're a beautiful mechanism of divine benevolence. And so everything you are as essence is listening to you, is harmonizing with you. And you're the one that says, you're the one that's now trying to entrain it into a higher vibrational becoming, right? And so you're meant to live as this beautiful expression of spirit. And that spirit knows itself as perfect. But it's up to us to remind it and to drive that ship. That's the commandment ship. So this is the one that came out when, again, that's what we said earlier, is releasing allegiances. And those allegiances are anything, physical, mental, emotional, and friendships, jobs, anything that is in your outer reality is a manifestation of what you are releasing from within. So if your spirit and your soul and those subtle little trigger energies are saying that, those magazines aren't necessary for you anymore. You don't need that anymore. That addiction is no longer necessary for you. The circle of friends you're in is not nourishing or positive, and they're not empowering you or supporting you. All of those energies is what is called an allegiance. What did you give your allegiance and your loyalty to or your power to? And then you get to look within when you're awakening and say, I don't need that anymore. That allegiance is not aligning with who I am now. I get to rewrite your story. And you get to hold yourself in love and compassion, because that's what she's doing there. She is in the rawness and the nakedness of who she is. She's finding her authenticity, her new I am story. And these are the bees, which are the sacred co-creators of a new reality. The bees are the sacred geometry co-creators. And so she's holding herself in sacredness. See, she's holding herself. I am sacred. I'm going to hold myself as the sacred child. Most of us didn't have that because our parents were working from levels of dysfunction from their wounding. And so they did the best they could. So just forgive them and return that honor back to them, returning thy name back to them. So that when they come back in their next lifetime, you've cleared that karma for them. And that will enrich your field of return, right? Anything that you do in goodwill and kindness will return and amplify your field of return, because spirit and God will always meet you in equal measure. Just your love to express who you are and to love who you are, and release things that are no longer in nourishment of your soul. Because your soul's fulfillment can only come from within. It must be nourished through sacred allegiances. Sacred allegiances, Gaia, spirit, your highest council of teams. And it's only from within that those sacred allegiances are, of course, how Gaia feeds you. And they're saying one more thing that they wanted me to talk about is when you're exploring these experiences of you living as spirit and co-creating as spirit and how you manifest abundance and all the beautiful things that you do as spirit. Spirit's always with you in every moment. God is always walking with you. God hears everything. God knows everything. God knows your, if we were to give it a percentage of intention, if you will, how much of that intention is pure and how much of it is ego. Spirit knows. The spiritual celestial councils know. So our role here is to keep continuing to go within to self-love so that we are pure intent, and you can feel it inside your heart. All of your chakras in here just start to feel deep and rich. And you will, after these awakenings, have a couple of days of really heightened sensitivity, hypersensitivity. Like you're crying at commercials and you're crying when your child walks in the room. That's when you know you've opened your heart chakra and you're doing great work. So keep it up. And remember to raise up and call in those new affirmations of higher power, because as you've released lots of density, you've got to return it with a new I am story power. I am powerful. I am profound. I am creative. I am loving myself. My body is healing. I am healthy. Feed it with those highest nourishments. You're wanting to train a higher vibrational you. And that's called higher entrainment. The Arcturians showed me many years ago. And so the next ones that came out is seeing the true you. So after you're releasing allegiances of what no longer serves you, the vibrational stories that don't serve you, you now get to see the reflections of this new story that spirit will always show you in the waters of the emotions that you've released. Your emotional body is how you manifest. Make no mistake about it. So if your emotional body is not balanced, you will manifest imbalance. And because most of our collective is working on stories of egocentric misunderstandings, misguided beliefs, because we're putting our power and giving our power away, all of those manifestations are imbalanced, and why we've manifested the collective experiences that we have. And more will unfold in the coming years of the many corruptions and the power and the abuse of power that's gone on. And we've all manifested it because the true us that we've been seeing have been the misguided misunderstandings of egocentric, fear-based control systems. That's the farthest program, and they're all programs within the Earth experience. Earth is the school of our galaxy to learn about separation and to come back to center and return to one and oneness. The laws of our universe is sacred oneness and free will, so that we can learn and see our way back and feel our way back and become the way back to spirit. That's the lesson of this planet, is unity and oneness. And each and every person, make no mistake about it, will see reflections of it, and how to return back and how to forgive and just live in love. And through only the softly, the tender touch, because the mind cannot get you there. It has to be done through the heart. And so to be soft with yourself, and you can see that after she's seen these true reflections of herself, you can see, and she's got tears, because she has the representation, just like my experience, and so too many of yours that I've seen. And I've been such a treasured honor to be a part of your healing plan, so many of you, and your deep trauma healings that we've done together. And I'm so grateful that you've held me in that confidence. She's releasing the experience of the harshness that has been her experience. And there's no longer a victimization. She's saying, I'm going to be gentle and soft with myself now, and I'm going to allow my world to be touched softly by my heart, because I don't need to be in resistance of who I am, because I love who I am. I'm choosing a new self-love story. I'm going to idle myself within that presence and say, I'm one with you, Spirit, and I'm in reverence and humility of it. And it's going to be a soft and gentle experience, and one with great adventure, one with great curiosity, one with great excitement. But it's going to be soft. I don't have to fight anymore. I've learned all the karma, the rules and the lessons I've needed to learn. And sometimes those wounds are so deep, because you're a precious soul, and you were shut down by those wounds of others not understanding you and loving you the way that you needed. Nobody came with a manual. And every soul needs to be loved and shared and honored in different and unique ways. And that's our healing. It's our oneness. And each and every person will have to at some point. And that's the throat chakra clearing. Many will have to, succumb and release the ego. The ego wants you to be so terrified and standing in the fight or flight, win or lose, because you feel like you need to be safe. And you just surrender that to spirit. And you say, Spirit, just let me fall softly. Because I know within the softness I'm becoming more whole, and I love you so much. And that soft and gentle place, wow, eons of density just transmute. And you just surrender it to the Christ within you, because you have a vessel within you that is God, and it looks like this vessel, and it's pure golden white light. And that is the vessel through which all of your energies that you release as spirit get transmuted. So it's actually within you. We say out because that's just what humans like to understand, that it's not inside of them anymore, but it's actually transmuted from within. That's your knowingness that God is. She's feeling it. That's transformation. And it's an experience unique to everybody, because when you feel it, you know that you just touched God, and God is like celebrating. You remembered. Yay, you did it. And all of heaven celebrate. All of reality celebrates forever. Creation is forever changed because of your ripple of self-love. Make no mistake about it. I've seen it. I've seen the ripples of creation and the wavelengths, the threads and the blankets of wave and the particles of wave that ripple because of one act of love. One act. Forgiveness and truth and light and softening. Just love. Forever. We're all changed. And all of a sudden, all of those programs of fear and control and less than, and all those people that are working 10 times harder than they need to just to survive. And their families are sick because they're ill, because they've never known that they were perfect in God. God was within, spirit, source, creator. however we want to decide, that the essence of life within us, whatever that word wants to be, it's God, and it never goes anywhere. It's not in a textbook, it's not in a church. It's all things and all things in between. And that's for each person to find. That's for each person to soften and surrender to and say, Spirit, show me the way. Because I want to transform my reality. I want to be abundant in all things. I want to be abundant in all ways. I want my body to be healthy. I want my mind to be healthy. I want to be rich in spirit. And I want to see spirit before me. I want to see light ships. I want to be a part of the earth being healed. I want to be a part of the water being cleared. And I want to be a part of every child feeling free and liberated and safe. What a perfect planet. What a perfect planet. They're real simple. Liberation for every child. Every body to be healthy. Those are simple, simple prayers. You don't need millions. Millions isn't going to do you much good if you're not healthy. And if your spirit is so saddened you can't feel it anymore. Be rich in spirit. Be the joy of who you are. Call in your harvest of love. Call in your harvest of light. And allow yourself to receive. It's so profound. We hope that you've enjoyed this experience. We love you so much. We love you so much. And we hope that you enjoy this full moon and just be gentle and precious with yourself. You are dearly loved, and in this incredible, incredible galactic, universal, multiverse ascension, we wish you divine love and sacredness. And we absolutely love those that have donated and supporting us to raise ourselves to a new level of expression, a new level of exploration, because we have ideas. We have ideas that spirit is moving and wanting me to express in so many different ways. So I'm really appreciative of all donations. The links are below. And any private sessions, intuitive readings, healing, Akashic counseling, if you'd like that on your vocational alignment to align with the 5D grids. We have weekly classes, and we're so passionate about what we offer, and we just love and honor you so much. And we hope that you really take advantage of this beautiful full moon that is tonight. And we love you and we honor you, and be sacred in love and oneness in all that you are, and the soft and gentleness of that sacred child. And just spend some presence and some joy and some gentleness with your inner child, and just love it whole, love it whole, love it whole. Get your box of tissues. Get your box of tissues and get your journal, and just say, what stories can I release? And remember, this is an ongoing thing. You might release this one story of subjugation, and you're going to be releasing it for a couple of years, because it's at different levels and different densities and different ways you wanted to serve the collective. So however you chose to serve the collective in your destiny will be how much you're going to move in and out of the psyche wounds and out of the collective density, so that you can serve in the highest, most profound bandwidth that you can. And that's why many of us have gone through what we've gone through, in the myriad of ways that we've done to be the masters of the psyche and the multidimensional bodies and the systems through which we live within and which we've created, so that we can transform it and transcend. So just know it's all perfect. Spirit knows everything. You just got to release. Keep releasing, and allowing yourself to allow. Release and allow, and then choose new. Release, allow, and choose new. We love you, dear light ones. Namaste. Our links are below. Rainbow tickles.